Hey, peace world. Thanks for present playing another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. I had to jump in, talk some bite down boxing really quickly. I don't know if you checked out the action over on Twitch, on the Twitch app from Ring City, USA. Just about 14 minutes before the other card or the main event card gets started on NBC Sports Network. I was trying to go earlier at lunch and check in, talk, what was current at that moment, but my phone was acting up. But Tuesday night, I did want to go back to that Frank Martin win over Jerry Perez, seventh round knockout, I believe. Frank Martin out of the Midwest, I guess born in Detroit, grew up in Indianapolis, and is now training down in Texas with James. So southpaw, lightweight, good victory. I like what I saw. Joe Goosen was really big on Martin. He got the big left hook for the knockdown. Was controlling the fight and whatnot. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more activity with the jab, mix it up a little bit, but maybe he knew what he was dealing with in Perez, who was undefeated at the time. I thought it was a pretty good performance. Just with lightweight, how does he get in the mix to fight any of the the Devin Haney's, the Teofimo Lopez, the Ryan Garcia's, Tank, Shakur? You throw in Shakur's not quite up at lightweight just yet, but you throw in O'Shaquie Foster, who's not up there either. But how do any of these guys get to face one another? We got a good crop of talent right there, but how does the business let any of it unfold? So it's good for PBC though to have a lightweight to have in the mix in such a in a talent laden division. But again, how does the business allow any of it to unfold, to deliver some good fights, to allow these cats to make some money, and to allow these kids to work on their legacies and whatnot? Obviously, with Teofimo Lopez having all of the titles and being considered undisputed, we know about the WBC situation. But I don't know how a cat like Frank Martin, where does he go next? How does he work, for the next year and a half or whatever? You got to see what Teofimo Lopez is going to do in terms of how long he holds on to all of those belts and continues to let those sanctioning fees eat up his purses, and just what he does. Definitely have to see what the pay-per-view buys are for this fight that's coming up on Triller, I believe, early June 5th and whatnot. But we'll see what happens there. So good performance from Frank. Didn't see a whole lot of weaknesses. Man, he's one of those guys, got a nice frame on him. Looks like it was great to have a night of action with several fighters guided by Derek James of the crop of fighters, or the group of fighters that he's working with and whatnot. So I thought to all of the other fights on that card, I know it was a controversial decision with the I can't even think of my man's name. He had the low blow that was taken away, or the 1 point deduction that was taken away late, and the mixed martial arts dude, MMA guy, won the fight and was shocked himself. But we'll see what happens. Getting to the action tonight, what I was going to talk about earlier at lunch was the fact that tonight was supposed to be a truly, truly, truly great night for boxing, man, with two U.S. undefeated heavyweights going in there, with Stephen Shaw out of St. Louis, Missouri, against or Grand Rapids. It was one of those two, Saginaw or Grand Rapids. But Yeah, that was supposed to be the main event tonight. You know, who knows if it would have went the distance, but two young guys that I definitely have some interest in and wanted to see get it on and decide which one of those guys takes a step forward. But Franklin came out and announced on his Instagram page over the weekend, I believe, or at least by Monday, that he contracted COVID-19 and was unable to to continue on with the fight and whatnot. One of the other change-ups on there, Sean Showtime Porter had been doing the commentating or the analyst work on the Ring City USA series. He contracted COVID while down in Puerto Rico a few weeks back on their last show and had to quarantine and whatnot. And he is on site at West Point, where the is the host site in New York. But WBO super featherweight champion Jamel Simplify Herring has stepped underneath the headset tonight to call the fights. It's a women's bout that moved up to the main event in Canada's Elena Marjanovic against Erica Cruz. Not all that familiar with Cruz. This is the second appearance on there from Marjanovic. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see what it's about. It's a potential for there to be a future fight with Amanda Serrano. They're showing the replay of that right now with her against Bermudez, which was the last show, I believe. It's leading into tonight's fight. But I didn't pay attention to a whole lot of this card. They had some of the West Point cadets were fighting on there on the Twitch portion of it in headgear. Some of the stories were, good. That was, it was a good event. And to talk about the West Point boxing program, to get the background on that, you all know, Herring is a former service member, two tours in Iraq. He was calling the fights and just paying some respect to those guys. I watched about 3 of them. And then they got into the professional fights. A kid named Jalen Walker was in there. I think he was super featherweight, maybe, from Los Angeles. Left out of there with the split decision draw against a cat named Angel Antonio Contreras. Pretty good fight. Jalen Walker is only 19 years old. I just thought he just fought he just same thing that I said with Otha Jones last week when he lost his bout. Use your legs a little bit more. You can't fight at the same speed the entire night, start to get tired and allow yourself to get caught, and then expect the judges not to one of the judges or two of the judges to not favor what the other guy is doing. So I think he stayed in the pocket a little bit too much after having a great start. And that's the thing. You see how some of these young guys, you see how, that you have an advantage on the guy when you're fresh, and then things get narrow once you have some tank problems and your defense, deteriorates a little bit, and then you're not as sharp, and the other fighter can come back. So learn how to use those legs, break up the other fighters' action, fight tired, and have that will to win. I thought Jalen Walker said all the right stuff after the fight, leaving out of there with the draw. He's a confident kid, 19 years old, trained by his father. Rudy Hernandez, I believe, was the other guy that was in his corner. So we'll see what happens with him. The other fight that was on there, that was the main event of the, kind of like the featured fight of the Twitch portion of the show, featured Christian Mbili out of Canada by way of France. A super middleweight fight against Antonio Gutierrez, who was like, hell, Gutierrez was experienced, 27-4-2, two draws with 14 knockouts. And Billy was, I want to say 17-0 or 18-0 coming into the fight, with only one fight not ending inside the distance. So he was 16 or 17-0 with 15 or 16 knockouts, I believe was what it was. And Billy's one of these muscle bound guys, Mike Tyson, kind of cut in that Tyson mode, good power, throws punches with bad intentions. He stopped Gutierrez, who was in the pocket all night. I don't know why. He was taller. He was a couple inches taller and whatnot. He was a little slow though, but he was trying to tough it out and maybe get into the latter half of the fight. But I mean, hell, it was an 8-round fight. He got stopped in the round 5. I'm sorry if I said 7. So he took too much damage. It was 2 knockdowns in that 5th round, a double right uppercut for the first knockdown. He was down again just moments later from a right and left hook to the top of the head. He was back down. He got evaluated before the start of round 5. So that kind of signaled, New York doesn't really play with fighters taking damage and whatnot. So they evaluated him and he was under watch from that point forward. But Mbili was lighting him up with a lot of body work, kept throwing the left hook to the body and the right hook as well. Just seemed like the way that where the camera was situated, I saw the left hook landing a lot more. He was landing the uppercuts all night long. Gutierrez fought very squared up. Like I said, he was slow, not a lot of head movement. He was tough though. A good test for Mbili after the fight. The Frenchman called out all the top names at 168. As well as Berlanga, who fights Saturday on the ESPN card in the co-main event under Navarrete and Christopher Diaz. But he called out Canelo, said he was ready for Benavidez, said he was ready for Daniel Jacobs. Couple other guys he called out. He said he was ready for everybody. And he said the performance sent a message to the division. And looking at it and thinking about it, I think Berlanga might have gotten Gutierrez out of there in the first round. Maybe. I think, and that's just because of the way that Gutierrez chose to fight. And then Berlanga is like what, 6'1", 6 feet, maybe 6'1.5" or something. So he has some more height on him. It doesn't make a lot of sense for the Berlanga, and Mbili, but hey, I like the kids. I like Mbili's, ambition and willingness to fight everybody. I just think you see where the titles are. Oh, he called out Caleb Plant. And I think that was the last name. I think, I think a good matchup for him would actually be either Suleski or Rosado. Rosado's a guy that probably couldn't knock him out, probably couldn't stop him, but would be, slick, give him some different things to look at, wouldn't stand right in front of him and be target practice, make him move around a little bit, show some more, probably show some warts fighting Gabriel Rosado, who is pretty durable. As long as he doesn't have his face, as long as his face doesn't open up and he's bleeding all over the place. But I think that would be a pretty good fight, a next move for Mbili. Definitely Suleski would be a good one, but I mean, I guess they're putting that fight back together for Munguia. Hey, Munguia wouldn't be a bad fight for him, to be honest. That probably wouldn't be all that bad of a fight. But what? Munguia is down at 160. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's down at 160. That's my bad. I thought he called out somebody that was below him, though. That was below a division down, but maybe not. But yeah, I think Suleski, maybe even Cuba, Arias, maybe even him. I mean, I would think he needs a fight. And Arias is a guy who's been in there against all of the names that I just mentioned, Jacobs, Suleski, and Rosado. So maybe that's another development type fight or whatever, maybe. So yeah, But I like I said, I like that he called everybody out and seems to be willing and ready to take on everybody. I just think there does need to be one more stop, I think, for him. Certainly, although you know what? He couldn't do worse than Avni Yildirim. He doesn't have the ranking of Yildirim, with Yildirim being the mandatory for 2 years or whatever. But he could try, but he's definitely not there. He's definitely not there just yet. Like I said, even Jacobs, I think, the way that Jacobs looked against Rosado, who knows? But again, Gongor, that's who I was thinking. Gongor wouldn't even be, and that might be a makeable fight because of the business, and over on the zone and whatnot. So that's a possibility for Mbili. But I just think for the best results possible for him and trying to steer him towards a world title and give him a chance to be successful, I would think they'd take another fight or two, let him see some different things, let him face some adversity, maybe put him in there with another puncher. A guy with more. That was dope that Sean Porter was on. Like I said, he was on site at West Point the last few days and actually sparred with the West Point boxing team and whatnot. I thought that was pretty dope of Sean Porter. I mean, that's what he does though. And it looks like they have him commentating in his regular spot tonight now that they moved over to NBC Sports Network. So that's pretty dope. But yeah, like I said, Mbili looked pretty good tonight. Jalen Walker against Antonio Contreras was a decent fight. Daniel Bailey. He was also on that card. Let me see what division Bailey was in. Short night for him. Junior lightweight. So 130 pounds. It was scheduled it was a 4-rounder. I guess he's been in camp with the whole Bud Crawford, Steven Nelson, and Jamel Herring. I guess he's been in camp with all of those guys. He's actually a cousin, I believe, of Randall Bailey, who retired a few years ago. But he took on Luis Alvarado. It was over with in 27 seconds. Alvarado was he got caught speeding a little bit, took a big left hook to the face on the button, flush, and went down, and you kind of knew it was over when he dropped. It was a hell of a shot though, but Daniel Bailey moved to 4-0 with 3 KOs. Pretty he's a former service member, was in the Army previously and was like a 4-time Army champion and whatnot. So pretty good personality on the kid. We'll see what's next for him. So all of that action happened over on Twitch. Seemed like a pretty lively bunch over there, just listening to the commentary in the chat. Looked like a lot of knowledgeable fans in there. It was all respectful of all of the fighters and whatnot. With some French people in there speaking French or typing French. It was a decent scene. So we getting ready to get over here. They singing the national anthem right now. But like I said, Elena Mrjinovic and Erica Cruz for the WBA featherweight world title. 10 rounds of action. Mrjinovic is trained by Jonathan Banks, I believe. I think that's who she linked up with. Welterweight fight, 10-rounder. Juan Pablo Romero, 13-0 with 9 KOs against Denier Barrio, who's 22-2-1 with 13 KOs. I mean, Ring City is putting some, they putting some cards together, man. I hope y'all are checking this out. There's also another welterweight fight on there, an 8-rounder. Bobirjan Mamanov, who's 12-0 with 8 KOs against Angel Ruiz, who's 16-1 with 12 KOs. So, some people with some decent records, man, and we'll see how the matchups look actually in the ring. But I think Ring City is putting together a good product. And it would have been an excellent card, had the main event not fallen out. So like I said, man, that's that's all I was gonna say earlier when I was trying to jump on was you know, day to day you see all the complaining about stuff and what's not happening, but then you don't see a whole lot of videos actually talking about what is being put together and who is fighting the good fight, who is trying to do something positive for boxing and to grow boxing. Everybody that goes to West Point, every cadet that goes to West Point has to take a boxing class or the boxing class. Not everybody is on the team, but I just think that's pretty dope. And they've been on here. They've ran this little video several times now about the importance of boxing at West Point. And you wonder with things like that, people who have to take, who go to West Point and had to take this class, like, do they become boxing fans? But then we work ourselves back to the constant issue that boxing doesn't, and it takes so long for boxing to deliver, the marquee fights, that maybe the sport doesn't hold people's attention because the best can't always fight the best in a timely manner. So anyway, that's it, man. Like I said, just check out hopefully you're checking out the action tonight and enjoying what Ring City USA is doing. Like I said, man, I know it takes a big hit that we're not getting the heavyweight fight that was planned. A lot of action just a couple days from now, with everything that's going to be on over there on ESPN Plus and ESPN. Like I said, the 126-pound WBO title with Emmanuel Navarrete and Christopher Diaz, Edgar Berlanga against Damon Nicholson in the co-main event. Check out the interview that I had on here a couple of weeks ago with the best at it, Damon Nicholson out of Maryland. And then a ton of that's another good fight to check out, to look for. Saturday is Jermaine Ortiz, and I want to say it's Joseph Adorno, but it's two of the Adorno brothers on there, and Jeremy and Joseph. One of them is fighting Jermaine Ortiz. That's two guys, I believe, that are undefeated. So check that one out. Who else is on there? Josue Vargas is on there. That was one other guy. Anyway, man, let me get on out from here. The fights are getting ready to start. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.